So flipping me off in the camera before we start our podcast is funny. Okay, count us down, please. 5, 4, 3, 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Clap.
I'm not clapping. You're flipping me off.
3, 2, 1.
It's the Jack
and Kathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was that?
Okay,
Did you like
I
that
think
one?
I think it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, babe.
How are you?
All right, so I think I just experienced the key to why we are going to make it to the end of time.
Why?
Yeah, because I showed you a very silly, stupid video on Instagram that made me chuckle.
And I laughed at
And
it.
you laughed.
So because I laughed at something
Yes.
stupid and inane,
Yes.
but I'm stupid and inane.
Well, clearly I am too, to a degree,
So
because
should we just go to a home? Should we just go into a home right now?
how do you jump to that thought?
Because let's stop working. We're going to be mentally incapacitated. Let's just get there now. How much fun would that be? We just pretend like to be knuckleheads in a home.
That seems like it might be a good movie.
Oh my God, it'd be a great movie. These two people have no money left, so they throw
Yeah.
themselves into a home so they can have free food.
And free rent or something. That could be good. Please write that script.
Oh my
Jack
God, it would
Honor. I
actually
can't
be-
write.
It would
but-
really be funny.
It would be funny.
But what's the point? There's got to be an arc, though. So that's the challenge. You need an arc for all this stuff. Come closer to me, lover. You need an arc for all this stuff. You know what I mean?
An arc.
They
Yeah.
always have like a dramatic part, and then. Are we too close to the camera when we do this? By the way, watch your nonverbals because Carol watches and she reads everything.
Can
You
I
do.
show the video that I
You can just turn the volume way up. No one's gonna get it if they're listening.
there's no
I know, but no one's going to
Wait,
get
wait,
it if
wait,
they're
wait.
listening. No one's going to get it if they're listening. This is a podcast, babe. Oh, boy.
I know no one's going to get it if they're listening.
So then why are you playing it?
I don't know, because it made
It's-
me laugh.
You're going to force... You're going to force...
These two friends are in bathrobes having a girls' night, pouring 2 glasses of wine, and they're just dancing with loud music.
It's just stupid.
I don't know why.
Okay, take it away.
The one girl
you are
picked up the
literally-
full glass of wine and
You
poured it over
realize
her face.
You are
I don't know if
miking
she.
out so loud right now. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
I'm miking out.
Yeah,
that
you were
sounds.
you were eclipsing
that
your
sounds
mic
like
capacity.
that sounds indecent.
Yeah, I'll give you a mic out. Get that mic out of my.
Was I
butt.
miking out?
You hear what I just said?
I don't want to hear. So that was posted by my friend Susie.
Susie Lee.
Yes, Susie
Yeah.
Lee. So she started
Yeah.
Early Birds Club. Did you
Okay.
see it on
No, no.
Instagram?
Is it new?
It's a girls'
Okay.
dance party for women who want to let their hair down but still be home in time to get a good night's rest. So look at the turnout she had
Oh,
at the
you're
girls' dance
kidding
party.
me.
No.
Wow.
So yeah, so they're planning their second one. They had a DJ, another friend of theirs who was.
Why is your mic so freaking loud compared to mine? What is going on here right now?
I'm just maybe loud.
No, I'm serious.
So anyway, yeah, Susie
Okay.
posted this video that
There we
just
go.
struck my
I
funny
I
bone.
fixed
So
it. Okay.
so funny.
When did
Susie.
she start that club, though?
Oh, they just had the first one the other night, and it was a big smash. And
Wow.
yeah,
Is that to raise money for her cancer stuff?
I don't think so.
It was
I
just
think
to get
it's
girls
just to
together?
get girls to come together and
Come together right
Yeah.
now over me.
it is Shake a Tail Feather at Early Birds Club.
Wow.
A dance party for women who want to let their hair down but still be home in time to get a good night's rest.
But what if I want to go to
So
that? Because
check-
I like dancing.
You need
There's no way guys are going to have a dance club.
you need boobs. You have to have
Oh,
boobs.
come on.
in
Invite
order
some men
to go
along.
to this or a other lady.
I think
bits,
that's sexist.
Other lady bits.
I think it's sexist.
you might need.
I think it's sexist. We should bring it up with her. You're going to go to it one time, aren't you? You
I
got to
would
go.
love to.
Yeah.
I think that looks awesome.
Looks totally cool.
Yeah.
Where do we find her on Instagram?
Early Birds Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called literally Early Birds Club is the name
Early
of this.
Birds
Okay.
Club.
Well, then people
It's her
get over
friend
there.
Laura and Susie.
Oh my God. Could I dress up like Tootsie and go?
No,
Please.
no.
Is that offensive?
You would be
Found out?
strung up by your fingernails.
Stop it. You women are so tough. Oh, see, look at that face right there. There was a sarcasm face. My mom's right. I've got to look at your face from now on. What is it doing now? You don't want me to be here right now, do you? I want to say an apology to you, baby cakes.
Why?
I want to apologize.
How come?
Well, because, and this is going to get a little bit deep and heavy. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So last week, I posted something on Instagram which was political, which I rarely do. Though we do speak about our politics and our religious beliefs on the podcast, rarely do we post anything on those topics.
Yeah, I
Right?
tend to steer clear. I have definite opinions, but I'm not one that enjoys the confrontation that any of that brings up.
Well, there's so
So,
much
I
confrontation
don't-
that comes from it, right? Like you say
Definitely.
one thing and next thing you know, that's the vultures come out. Surprisingly, no one does that on the podcast because no one listens to it.
Oh, what? Well, I have said to you, I don't go down that road. I don't go down politics,
I know.
right?
I know.
I think it's very divisive. I don't like being divisive. I
know.
think right now in our society, we don't need anything that just makes us even more divisive. So politics is often just a divisive topic from the get-go. That doesn't mean I'm without opinion. It's just not my thing to be that. That puts that just puts me in a state of angst
I get it.
and anxiety
I get
to
it.
talk about all that. So
I'll stop.
I love your opinions. I value your opinions. I love the conversations we have off the air or not on social media. And I've actually encouraged you that I love your voice. I would say, have your own podcast. That's not my nature. I'm not cut out for that kind of confrontation. It's just not me. So you started off saying, you wanted to apologize for taking liberties on our social media account by posting that.
I
Right?
still feel bad for putting it. It feels like there's a greater reach on social media because not many people listen to
There's
the podcast.
great reach on social media.
And I apologize sort of for putting something out there that I believe in because it should then just be on my personal site. And then at the same time, you and I are a team and a pair. And despite the fact that I rambled as intensely as I did on the topic, I'm a far more moderate candidate. And where I think I get frustrated with the political process is on either side. The digging into the heels simply for the sake of digging in, and I don't like it. Mm-hmm. And I think I was shocked by the response that I got, which was a dug in the heels, less researched response. And I don't do well with that. And just like on YouTube, we got a criticism about Key, and we're judged for being, me especially, the parents of a transgender child, and I failed that child. Like what goes through my mind, because that's a political religious thing, two big topics you don't talk about. We could talk about sex next if we want to and really stir up the barrel here. So I'm sorry if it affected you negatively, and I'm sorry if it affected any relationships. I do believe that's the challenge we have in this country right now, is that there is no discourse. There's just platitudes and talking points, and it's bullshit. And that's what bothers me. Do your homework, read up on these candidates, learn what they stand for, and try not to be single-minded. I recognize there are certain topics that we feel more passionately about than others, but try to look at the breadth of things. And that's where I feel, and then I'll stop after this, that's where I feel we've lost our way as a country, because we've lost the ability to be critical thinkers, to have intellectual discussions. We just want to beat people up and just say you're stupid, and it's frustrating.
I believe that we have moved very far away from mutual respect for other people that have differing opinions. I think there are many people out there now that when they discover someone else has a different opinion, they vilify. And instead of having, educated dialogue about differing opinions, it's what our country is built on, is different opinions. No one has to have the same opinions as you or me or them or whoever. But it's having respectful dialogue based on, as you point out, facts.
Just do. It's so easy to find if you really want to dive into what they stand for, and you don't have to agree with it, right? Mm-hmm. But just take a look at their voting record. I mean, online today, there was this woman who was a woman saying, we've got to do what we can to fix IVF because it's terrible what's happening in Alabama. And so many people were just crushing her on threads, showing her voting record. She voted against IVF treatment in her state, that they shouldn't be funded. That's the kind of stuff that I don't feel politicians are so good at bloviating bullshit.
I agree.
That we don't spend enough time going, wait, stop. What are we doing here? Like, again, it takes Jon Stewart to educate us. He's a comedian on Comedy Central. Anyway, getting back to it, as I spent 15 minutes on this.
Yes. 17.
I apologize for exposing us, and I won't do that again. And that, believe it or not, bothers me.
Please hear me when I say I want you to have an outlet. I want you to know that your voice is important and valuable, and I completely respect it. And 99% of the time, you and I align on stuff. I just... this is a podcast that is both of us, and that doesn't feel comfortable to me. But I don't want to stop you from having your voice.
I don't feel comfortable doing it because it upsets you.
Just when it's on our joint thing. Do you understand that distinction?
100%.
Okay.
And I think where I'm gonna argue a little bit here, is that even if it's on my thing, you and me are us and Jack and Kathy Shit Show. We're a team with everything, so it's gonna come back. In this world, it's gonna come back to us. It just will. And so I'm okay with that. I saw this information that was coming out. I looked it up. I went, well, that's fucking shitty. And I went, people should know about this kind of stuff. And oh, by the way, just happened to be someone that I liked. So therefore it looks partisan. Mm-hmm. You know me well. If I thought there was something the Democrats were doing that was just bullshit and shitty, I'd be the first person to say it. And I want to end here, I really do. I actually believe more people are moderate in this country than not. And it's when the extremes get there are fewer people on both extremes. They just have the loudest megaphones. And I think I'm at a place now where I wish the middle, where you and I sit more typically, had a bigger megaphone, right? To drown out the shitty stuff. Okay. So let's talk about divorce second time around.
Not divorce second time around.
Marriage.
How about
Sorry.
marriage
Whoops.
second time around? Was that a Freudian slip,
No,
my
that
love?
was intentional.
Oh, right.
It was.
Okay, we
That
got some things to discuss and we're out.
So, all right, I had this idea. Thank you for indulging me. I know I went a little bonkers there for a second. I just think. Let's all just think. Let's learn and think. Okay. So, today we had a really long day today.
Yes.
But more important than going down those details is we nail down, we talk about the wedding often and what's coming up and stuff.
Finding a venue.
Yeah.
And
So we kind of settled in on going to this restaurant that we really like, and they've got an upstairs and all that, and where we can have a private space for ourselves, small dinner with family, and we're very, very excited about. I think it's finally come together for what we want. And then you were asking me about the when we got done, we had a little snack at the bar and some stuff, and He said, "Hey, how do you feel?" And we're both excited, but we're not like losing our minds over it. It's still months away, 9 months away.
Yes.
But then we just started talking about, doing stuff with the kids, and it reminded me of a topic that I wanted to talk about, because now we're really marriage, right? And we
Yeah.
are,
We're making this
And
like
so-
official.
right. And so one of the things that might be hard for the kids to hear, if any of them even listen to this, is that we're still parents of them, even though biologically our kids are not of us, both of us together. There's still a parenting aspect that I want to talk about with you, and I want your point of view on it.
Okay.
And when I say parenting, it's not, you feel content to call up Sam and say, "I don't like the way you talk to your dad," or me calling Mackenzie and go, "You should buy your mom more things." That's not that form of parenting that I'm talking about. It's the relationship parenting that I feel might be more subtle, and
The relationship parenting.
where they're learning what a relationship looks like. The modeling, maybe modeling's a better word.
That's a better way of saying
Okay.
it. Yes.
And so we're still parents in that regard,
Yes.
right? We're still modeling a relationship, and we had both said that we felt, and again, if I'm saying this wrong or inappropriately, punch me lightly. We didn't feel, whether or not the kids felt that is for them to tell us, but we didn't feel we modeled what a good loving relationship looks like in our marriages. So I just threw a ton at you.
True.
True that I threw a ton at you, or true that we didn't model
True
well?
both.
Okay.
Both are true.
So the feeling I have then is though it's the second time around and the kids have different dynamics, they should see we still have a responsibility to model things.
Well, I would say, I think I know what you're getting at here. I think what I feel is so different. I definitely have a picture. I have an idea in my mind of what they didn't witness in a healthy relationship when I was married to their dad. And I feel like, yes, to your point, that I feel like I'm modeling that now. I feel like I'm modeling affection and a true partnership, modeling communication, modeling united front, modeling, hopefully they see us loving each other too. Like how I hope the kids are really witnessing how deeply we care for each other in the best, most positive way. Because, I have a very clear picture of what wasn't there before. So I'm very conscientious of making sure that is present moving forward.
Don't you feel, or do you feel that it's a pretty critical thing? Do you feel it's a form of parenting still? You know what I mean?
I don't think I thought of it then. I think when kids are little, your focus is very different. We have adult children now. And I think it's very easy to just, time goes so fast when they're little because you are really running around to kindergarten, then grocery store, and then Little League, and then a soccer game, and then someone has a homework due, and then you have to make cookies for the Girl Scout meeting or whatever it is. Life gets busy, and I think I think there is a tendency to not pay attention to the relationship as much, and that probably doesn't help. That obviously doesn't help keep a strong, steady relationship going. But I think that is a big distraction, and we don't pay attention to it the same way. I'm paying attention to it now in ways I'm sure I never did before until it became too painfully obvious.
Paying attention more to what? What are you saying?
Paying attention to paying attention to how I can model a better
Oh, a
relationship,
loving
a
relationship,
stronger
yeah.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel when you were growing up that you had it? Did you? I mean, our habits together are obviously born of what we were exposed to, right?
Um. I don't know if I was really aware of all that much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I witnessed fights and arguments with my parents. I remember one time one of my parents taking a walk around the block because something, something happened. I was completely unaware of what that might be. But I don't remember really any strong arguments. And thinking about my childhood, I must confess that I was so hyper-focused on in my own world that I could have been hit over the head with some problem, and I might have.
You might have been. You were so consumed with your sweating stuff that.
Yes, I was so
you weren't attuned to anything
emotionally that really was a focus of.
Yeah, stuff
so
happening
much
with
of what
mom
I
and
did.
dad was background noise, if there was anything.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
and I would love to, if there's ever a time to have our kids on again, to and if they felt like they were in a safe place to speak more to that, what they witnessed. Of course, I wouldn't want them to be in an uncomfortable position and say anything negative about, because no kid wants to say anything negative about their parents,
We're not looking for that either.
No, we're
right?
not looking for that. But it's just interesting on the topic of modeling a healthy relationship to pose that question to the kids and say, what do you think a healthy relationship looks like, or a healthy marriage looks like? Or even if it's not marriage by our classic societal terms, just a committed relationship. How about that? What does a healthy committed relationship look like to you?
Yeah.
If you were going to make the list of what that looks like, what things would you put on the list?
Me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were like being. Okay, so me, what would I put on the list of what a healthy marriage looks like? Mm-hmm. So I don't know that I grew up with good conflict resolution skills. And that doesn't mean I grew up in a bad house, because I don't want that to be heard or felt.
Agreed. Yep.
But I don't know that we resolved conflict well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just kind of, we'll get past it, right? We'll just let the dust settle. And what I've learned through my reading of the Gottmans, through my own personal journey with therapists, through other books, Dr. Alexander Solomon's book, when you ask the question, what would I do first? It's relational self-awareness. Dr. Solomon has a great book specifically talking about this, which I highly recommend everyone read. And it talks about, before you respond to stimuli that you're receiving, recognize your own triggers, recognize that some of those triggers are born out of what you learned from your parents. Not that they did anything wrong. Mm-hmm. That's just what you were modeled in, right?
Yeah.
If you sit in a household where someone thinks anyone that's under 5 feet is an asshole, then that's what the kid gets brainwashed into, right?
Right.
So, again, no fault of our parents, just what we were modeled on. I would focus on what I try to do with us is relational self-awareness. So if you say something that stirs a trigger in me or whatever, stirs some negative emotion, right? I'm going to hold on to that emotion, not react to it right away. That's what I've learned. And you probably see that with me sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not perfect at it, but I know I practice it. And so what I don't feel my kids saw, but I want them to see with us is that we're going to pause, say, I'm sorry. I didn't grow up with that. I know I didn't grow up with that. Hey, I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry I did that to you.
You're right.
And I don't think it was, I don't think it was intentionally mean. I don't want that to be the perception. But I've learned with my kids, at least I hope they feel this way, that I'm more comfortable saying things like, hey, you hurt my feelings the other day, when they do. Or I'm really sorry I did what I did to you, and not add on a but or try to explain myself. So I know I'm getting long-winded, shocker. To me, it's relational self-awareness. And that's what I want the kids to see. That, for lack of better words, I'm going to own my own shit. So if I step in something wrong, and especially with you, I'm going to be mindful of how we may be perceived if we're disagreeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also okay if the kids see us fight. And I think fight's a strong word, Kath. But if they see us
a disagreement,
if they see us in conflict,
differing
how's
opinion, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If the kids see us in conflict, I'm okay with them seeing that. These are our adult children now. I'm okay with them seeing that level of conflict because I want them to see how well we resolve it. We had a conflict today that we ended up laughing and hugging afterward, right?
Within a couple of minutes.
And I think that's okay, right? Our conflict skills are huge. What do you think? What do you want them to see?
Well, I think that is a good one. Conflict resolution is a really good one. But I also think like physical affection is good, even if it's just like when we're walking with the kids and you and I are holding hands.
Yes.
You get the door for me.
Yes.
You ask me, can I get you anything to drink? Or, Kath, do you need a glass? Like those little...
Yes.
That's them witnessing affection. That's them witnessing, us caring about each other. I want them to witness kindness towards each other.
Yep.
I want them to witness how do I want to say it? Like we're both contributing to the household.
Oh, wow.
I think
that's
that's
an
a
interesting
biggie.
one.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like dishes, laundry, cleaning, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Like chores?
and financial chores and financial
Oh,
stuff. And
wow.
like, I think that's a really great lesson to have a partner, and that's something I didn't know to expect or want in a partner, that when you showed me that you're that kind of partner, I was like, oh shit, that's really good. That means a lot to me that Jack, just without me saying anything, went down. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to throw in a couple loads of laundry.
Yeah.
And then folds it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I forgot the cinnamon at the grocery store. Oh, I'll run and get it. Like that is like, will probably forever blow my mind.
I mean, well, to be sure, you're in the middle of cooking, right? So I'm just sitting there helping and I don't know what I'm doing in the kitchen. So, no, but I get it. I get your point. You know what I find interesting right now is that the things that you want them to see is the joyful stuff, and the things that I want them to see is that we got through bad
conflict
stuff.
resolution.
Well, isn't that funny that we got through tough stuff?
Yeah.
And I think that's just our personalities, right? I think you are, I'm going to grab this hill. I'm going to tackle it.
Yeah.
And
I'm just going to love it to death.
But it's the truth. I think you do things that way better than me. And so it's just been on my mind lately. I got another question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you'll ever be comfortable in any situation? And I know this is such a hard question. Do you think you would ever be comfortable reprimanding, because I can't think of a better word, my kids over something? Like, let's say they're really mean to me one day, or disrespectful, because I have to believe if we were their biological parents, we'd both be more inclined to say things like, do not talk to your mother like that. Right? More stereotypical marriage stuff.
It's hard for me to imagine doing that. Maybe someday in the future, I'm sure I have a line in the sand somewhere. You know what I mean?
With them, like they have a line.
Well, yeah.
You're not crossing it.
Or if I witness my kids maybe crossing that line towards you, that I would have to say something. I haven't even come close to that yet. And I also don't feel like, I want to use the word earned. I don't know if I've earned that quite yet. I feel like I need a few more years tallied on the scoreboard before I've earned that, maybe, and maybe it's also proven myself to them, I think the kids are probably still learning to understand and trust what you and I are doing, because it feels also yummy and squishy and yummy loving to us, but that's not to say that's what our kids are feeling, right?
I have to believe for the kids there's an element of awkwardness because it's not,
no doubt.
you're not their mother and I'm not their father and never will be. And I got another question for you. Sorry. Something else just
this is actually a really big topic when it comes to kids. Now, we have adult children when you and I are coming together, so it's a totally different thing. But you can imagine if the kids are young and parents get remarried. I wonder what the statistics are for, the statistics are terrible for second marriages and even worse for third and beyond, right? I wonder if there are stats out there for when those second marriages began. Were there children? Did each spouse bring children into the relationship? Were there any new children? How old were the children?
Sure.
Because I can imagine, reflect back on those teenage years. The kids are going through their own stuff, right? Being a teenager, being in high school, middle school, that is some tough shit. It's really hard emotionally on the kids, and they lash out and they're trying to find themselves and they're trying to be independent.
That's right.
But we as parents know full well that they're not even close to independent.
And
they're
then
still relying on us for everything.
And then some step parent comes in.
We might still be cutting the crust off their sandwich. And yet they are defiant. We're like, what the hell? And so I'm curious if there are any stats out there. We should research this. If there are any stats out there at what point do you embark on that second marriage, and how does that success rate play into,
See, those are the guests I'd like to have on the show.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like the other guests. I always feel like I have to explain why I like something. It's a terrible habit of mine. I would like to have guests who are younger, who have gone through a divorce, who are remarrying, because those children dynamics are much different than
absolutely
what we have to deal with and deal with what's wrong, what we experience, because the kids are just older, right? They're working, they're living their lives. We're afterthoughts for a lot of things.
Yeah. Which is in a way, it kind of releases us to go, build our own life together unapologetically, because we know our kids are building lives, and hopefully they're happy, healthy, well-balanced, wonderful lives. They're not waiting for us anymore. They're not at our feet waiting to figure out what they're doing at 4:00, right? Or what's for dinner. They're still reliant on us for emotional support. And, I still to this day tell my kids, I got you.
Of course.
Do
you feel that given the stage of life we're in and all that kind of stuff, let me ask it a different way.
The old stage?
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable with this scenario? And I'll admit that I do. I think it's okay if the kids now have more people to rely on for advice. Mom and dad biologically are always going to have likely a greater impact and be a more prominent resource because that's what the kids have known their whole life.
Right.
But I would actually like the day if our spouses and if our former spouses actually have their partners, where now the kids have 8 parents I could go to for something. And I know parents, I'm using it loosely. I personally feel comfortable with that, right? That if my ex had a guy that I respected, was a decent man, but had maybe slightly different views than me, if my kids said, I want to go talk to Biff, right? And had a good talk with Biff, I'd be okay with that, because I would hope that.
I love how Biff is the name that comes to mind.
I couldn't think of anything else. How do you feel about that, though? Do you?
Well, I like to believe I'm open to it. I think, I could see myself maybe getting jealous if, there was something.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, like I am so desperate for connections with my kids.
Yeah.
That I I could see myself maybe getting jealous if like a new spouse on the other side was the confidant, you know, for one of my kids, and it wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see that. That might be a little painful.
Yeah.
Because how come they didn't come to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though, to your point, that the support, the nurturing, the attention, you know, you can't. That's always
Sorry.
going to be good for the kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Well, that's why I said I look at it as they've got another data point. That's me trying to put a positive spin on it.
that
but
maybe they would have more love brought into their life and
That's right.
more
correct.
models for healthy relationship and also modeling not just a healthy relationship with your new partner, but the healthy relationship of the divorced people sort
That's
of
right.
coming together and
That's
being
right.
able to be in the same room and still love and nurture.
That would be ideal for me.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you, topic along these same lines. When I was and I know I've told you this story, I just don't know that we've talked about it on the podcast. If we have, I don't remember. What's the matter?
I'm just stretching my legs
sorry.
out.
When I was in North Carolina, I met this wonderful guy, and he didn't get married, but he had what he called his SO, which I
Significant other.
yeah, that was kind of corny, but that's what they called one another. And again, I know I've shared this story with you. We're sitting at dinner, and when they had both been married previously, they had both been divorced. He had 2 little kids. She had slightly older kids, and their conflict that they had between the two of them was on his side, and that he told her often that you will never come before my kids, ever.
Yeah, that's tough.
And she said, then I'm out, because at some point those kids need to see that we come first. And that's a lesson they need to see. Now, again, much different because the kids were little. I think they were 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And so she left him for a stretch. And then he came back and he realized that the kids need to see the glass ball, rubber ball dynamic, right? That's where all that stuff came from when I've talked about it before, that sometimes the kids are rubber balls and they're going to be let go of dad and they're going to bounce and they'll be fine. And his spouse is the glass ball. She's the priority. And sometimes she's the rubber ball and one of the kids is the glass ball. And you get the idea.
Yeah, there's no hard, fast,
Right.
rule that gets applied because it can be so situational,
Do you feel, sorry for cutting you off, do you feel in our relationship that the kids need to see sometimes that you and I come first? How do you feel about that?
I think I feel like we've already demonstrated that in little moments.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that is important. Yeah. And
You do.
I actually think that it's good for the kids to witness how deeply we're taking care of each other. Like your kids, I imagine, love seeing how I make you a priority in moments and vice versa. My kids knowing that, all right, my mom has a partner that loves her, that's got her back, that is protecting her, that is taking care of her, that is going to be there for her, that loves her, that is kind to her and respectful to, like, I think it's important that I think that's a takeaway for them when they witness us putting each other first. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally feel it's important, not just on a philosophical level. There are times when you and I, let me back up, you and I will always jump when there is a need for our kids. That is never a question. In fact, you and I would jump in support of one another in either direction. Your kids, my kids. We're both going to be there. I also feel that the kids, all 5 of them, need to see that there's a time when all 5 of them have to take a back seat.
Right.
That you and I are a priority for whatever reason that is. Like, for example, if we decide we both want to move to another country,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We still have our lives to live. And I feel I would be the same way if I were still married, right? That, hey, your mom and I need time, just like the kids need time. And so I know you and I have talked about it personally. I just wanted it shared on the podcast, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Too late now, I guess, right? Well, thank you
Yeah, thanks, babe.
for sharing.
It's a good topic.
I just feel we're always going to be parents, so to speak, right?
Yeah, it's a never-ending topic, as all of this is,
No.
because nothing ever stays the same.
Well, and this is,
Try another box.
Okay. You know what's interesting? This is long-term couples edition or healing edition?
Let's do healing edition.
Okay. You know what's interesting is while it's incredibly new for the kids, right? Mm-hmm. Because they've got to experience different parents and also that kind of stuff. It's crazy. We don't know. We haven't done this before. We don't know how to We're learning on the go
I didn't tell
too.
you?
Yeah, okay.
You're my third marriage.
Bye-bye.
Really?
Yeah.
Deal breaker?
Deal
mister?
and breaker. Yeah.
You know?
What? You know what the deal breaker is? Not that you were married 3 times. You know what it is?
That I would have lied to you.
Yeah, that you lied to me.
Of course. Not true.
That you didn't tell me. Pick a card,
Okay,
any card.
this is the Skin Deep. This is this box is called the Healing Edition. Oh, I
Yes.
got 2 cards there.
There you go.
All right.
Go ahead.
What can we gain together?
Wait.
That was good. Yes. Yes. We
This is the one thing we share in common for sure, right?
yes.
We
Oh, that was
laugh.
good. Let's just leave it there.
For
That was
real?
the best answer. It
Okay.
was. It made me laugh.
I'll pick a card.
Oh yeah, you picking a card.
That was really good.
Yours has a lot more words on it. I can see
Help
already.
me if I lose my brain.
Okay.
Though if I do, I will be a really funny doofus when I'm older.
Wouldn't
Oh
it
my
be
God,
funny
Howard.
if the same answer could be wait? If you said your card and I was like, wait. Let's see.
This doesn't fit.
All right.
This is you always get the deeper one. That's what she said. What do you think there is for others to learn from our relationship?
Oh gosh, we talked
See,
just talked
we
about that. That was
did.
sort of
Yeah.
poignant to our topic today.
Faux show.
I suppose, we can't do any of this in the hopes of teaching other people, right? It's that we're doing this for ourselves, and we hope to
What's this? Just our life together?
our relationship.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Well, and certainly, this podcast
Yeah.
where we're sharing a whole bunch of stuff. Where I hope people don't think that we're on here going, okay, we've got it all figured out now.
Oh,
and
shit,
this
no.
is what you do.
The one thing we are getting much better at is conflict resolution. And we
Yeah.
are, and you said something today that you saw me just bust out laughing. And then I went, why are we fighting? I love this woman too much. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So I forgot the question now, but I think I answered it.
What can we both gain?
Wait.
This is
All right.
always a pleasure for me. You seem so tired right now. You're in your pajamas
I'm always
and
tired.
a robe.
We need to do this in the morning instead of at night.
It's too hard
20
for
to
you at
9.
night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can do another one tomorrow morning if you want to.
Maybe.
5
Except
o'clock?
we're getting on a plane.
Want to get up
Okay.
at 5 a.m.?
Time to go to bed.
5 a.m.?
All right.
And on that note,
Say peace.
peace.
Peace, Jack.
Peace, Jack.
You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Kathy Shit Show. All recording, engineering, and production provided by us. Connect with the podcast on Instagram at Jack and Kathy Shit Show for more insight into our shit show of a life. This episode is proudly brought to you by Pint Productions.
Point.